So, the fight. A lot of fights going on this time. A lot of YouTube boxing fights and stuff. So I want to kind of talk down to the first fight. A fight that's been promised for months. As you guys know, last year, 2020, this fight was announced-ish. Wasn't really announced on Floyd's side, but it was more announced on Logan's side. I think he made a video or something like that explaining about this fight and stuff like that, and he actually FaceTimed Floyd Mayweather. The fight didn't get enough hype. They called the fight off, and they left it at that. Nobody really knew, were they going to fight or not? Was it just something that was mistakenly put out there and Floyd just didn't accept it? No, turns out they actually did accept it a few months back. I think in May, we really got to know. It was trending all over Twitter. As you know, Jake Paul took Floyd Mayweather's hat. And I've got to admit, Jake Paul knows how to sell a fight. You see, he definitely knows how to get people to buy shit. I mean, $50 still for a fight is a lot of money. I mean, apparently they're rumored to be getting $10 million each, which, yeah, there's a good chance your $50 is probably a very small percentage of that. Now, the thing is, when it comes to betting on Logan or Mayweather, well, the bets against Logan are pretty promising. If Logan wins, you could be cashing out a bank ton of money. If Floyd wins, well, yeah, you've lost your money. You're probably not going to get as much money earned if you go on Floyd. That's just pretty obvious, that. Do I think Floyd's going to win? I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, the only reason why people are saying that is because he's gone 50, I think 50-0, which, I mean, is pretty impressive, don't get me wrong. You know, he's a very good boxer. He's, come up. I know he's had very controversial shit and stuff. I think he even was bit in the ring once, which kind of crazy. And he's had kind of very controversial stuff with, like, wives and stuff like that. And that's obviously what was brought up in the press conference by Logan Paul. It's pretty obvious, And then, obviously, I didn't know that Floyd knew this, but Floyd brought up about him being, like, the forest thing. As you know, the one thing that Logan Paul really almost nearly killed his career. If it wasn't for KSI, he saved his career. He pretty much said, you know what, I'm going to fight this guy. I'm going to try and regain his fans back, or at least people to respect him. And yes, he's definitely more respected now than he was back in 2018, 2017. He's more respected. He's more mature. Yes, he's goofy now and again, but now he's taking shit more seriously. Yes, he's pretty confident for this fight. He's that confident that he keeps saying he's going to knock Floyd out. I'll wait till I see it, personally. But if Logan does win, if you put 10 grand down, that's like 50 grand or something. I mean, you're bagging anyway. Do I think he's going to win? Probably not. That's obviously why the bet's a lot higher, because it's probably thought that maybe Logan's not going to win. And looking from sparring footage, what I've seen, Logan's been caught off by his trainer quite a few times. Logan he's a bit slow with the reactions. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. Like, if he trained more, I don't think he's had very much time. I don't know. Apparently he's been doing a year, 8 months or something like that. I mean, I don't know. That's decent. But then again, don't forget his last fight was, before that was like maybe a year or so ago. So he really hasn't had much potential in the ring. He's only had KSI, and to be honest, he nearly won that KSI fight. I think he threw an illegal punch, and I think that completely fucked him up. But he did drop KSI. Obviously, KSI, being the guy he is, got back up and fought the fuck out of him and did pretty well. I think KSI only won by a few points, but I mean, Logan did a pretty good job against him. I can't exactly lie there. You know, he definitely sleeped him a bit. But Floyd is a next level guy. I mean, this is the peak of Logan's career. This is where Logan needs to start thinking, I want to take this shit seriously. I have had this big opportunity. I mean, if anyone had the opportunity to fight Floyd fucking Mayweather, they'd want to make that shit great. They'd want to perform great. They wouldn't want to fail and stuff like that. Because think of all the memes that would come I mean, let's be honest. If he failed, the memes would just be even ruthless. I mean, Twitter normally does its thing after these sorts of fights. Twitter normally roasts the fuck out of whoever's lost. If Floyd loses, Twitter's about to roast the fuck out of him. If Logan loses, Twitter's about to roast the fuck out of him. You know, that's how it goes. I mean, everybody was doing it with Ben Askren when he lost to Jake Paul. People were tweeting, this and that. And, I mean, it was quite funny. But I mean, this is a very, very scary fight, and it actually happens on Sunday, and on Monday in the UK. I don't know. It's gonna be a pretty scary fight. I can't exactly lie there. I know a lot of people are scared to see Jake Paul and that fight. I have no idea who will win, but I can definitely tell you whoever wins will be crowned the king of boxing by everyone. I mean, if Logan wins, but it'd be a very close fight, I think. If Logan doesn't let Floyd catch him out or slip one into him, then I think Logan could have a pretty big potential here. But I think Logan's going to end up, you know, getting a little bit scared, screwing up, missing his shot completely, and maybe ending what he has to offer. And that's what I'm kind of scared for when it comes to Logan fighting. I can't lie, I am. I'm pretty scared for him. I mean, shit, he's fighting someone who will drop the cunt out of him. Not even mess about with him, drop him like a motherfucker. You know, it's crazy how stuff like that actually will happen. I think people need to start realizing that, you know, Logan Paul, I mean, shit, he must be, if I was him right now, I wouldn't be sleeping. That's for sure. I'd be very scared in that sense. Because, I mean, don't forget, I mean, this fight is pretty big for him. This is his peak career and stuff like that. So I really do want to see it play off well for him. I don't want to see him fail. Because obviously, you know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to fight him. Obviously, a lot of pro boxers like Mike Tyson don't think he'll be able to do it. Hopefully he shocks the world. I really, you know, if he does this and does actually win, that would definitely make KSI one of the greatest boxers out of the whole YouTube scene. Even greater than fucking Jake Paul. Now, I want to talk about Jake Paul a second. Jake Paul has a new fight coming up against, I think it's Tyron Woodley. As you guys know, he did fight Ben Askren. And if you watched the fight, which, I mean, most people did because it was illegally streamed to the max, you would have realised that Tyron Woodley was eyeing up Jake. Even like in the press conferences and stuff, he was eyeing up Jake pretty bad. And it looked like someone was going to start off, but they never. Turns out they were actually fighting and it was just released, which I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think they'd be fighting. I thought, you know, I was like, nah, surely not. Turns out it actually is happening. Now, if this really does go ahead, Tyron Woodley may beat the shit out of him. May beat the shit out of him. Or it may be rigged. Now, I know a lot of people are going on, oh, rigged. But let's be honest, he definitely paid Ben Askren. Ben Askren was completely sour in that ring. He was sour as fuck. You can't tell me he did that not on purpose. You know, he let him punch him. He acted so like, yeah, punch me. I mean, either that or he wanted a paycheck, which I don't know if Tyron Woodley's going to be doing this. Apparently, Jake said something along the lines of, if you win, you get my money, the money that I have for the fight. And if Jake wins, then he'll have to obviously pay all this money to charity, which, you know, it's a fair thing from Jake. I got to respect that. I mean, Jake is pretty good at selling a fight. I cannot lie about that. We obviously know he's incredible at selling fights. It's not a lie, that. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You know, he's pretty big when it comes to fights as well. I think a lot of people need to realize that this is the guy who may become a professional boxer. I mean, I think he is already one. I'm not entirely sure if he actually is. Yeah, I don't know if he's still an amateur, but I know that if he takes his shit seriously, he probably could have a very good career when it comes to boxing, and I think he's going to gain people's respect as it comes. I still know he hasn't got a lot of people's respect, and that's kind of what he's got to gain over the time. He's got to gain way more respect, because now what he's doing is he's taken a lot of that respect by just being a twat. But then again, be that twat or that him acting like a twat is the one who sells the fights. Essentially, he's got to act like a twat to sell a fight. And I can't lie, and you can't lie as well. Nobody can lie. He sold fights better than most professional boxers. I think he sold a fight even better than Conor McGregor. Now, I don't know if Conor McGregor and Jake Paul are actually going to settle it out in the ring. If they're actually going to fight. I like how Jake Paul called him out, but they have said nothing since. Jake Paul literally said nothing. Jake Paul essentially has been ducking him. Well, then again, Conor McGregor has too, because he literally mentioned nothing. He only mentioned something, I think, when someone's... So he knows of Jake, I guess. He's heard of Jake, or at least he keeps an eye on him. I think he definitely knows who Logan Paul is, though, because he did put out something about him being or Jake Paul as well, being able to sell this fight and stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of happy that all this is working. Obviously, the YouTubers versus TikTokers, I think that's a still go ahead. That'll be crazy. I know a lot of people are excited to see Bryce Hall get knocked the fuck out of. Obviously, KSI apparently is rumored to be Bryce Hall's next opponent, which is pretty exciting, I can't lie. A lot of people are excited just to see if Bryce Hall will get knocked the fuck out of. We've already had a teaser from the press conference of what Bryce Hall's going to act like if he tried to get punched out. So I hope that Austin McBroom actually can do the power and put that in. Obviously, Jake Paul's been stirring a fair bit with Austin McBroom by hanging out with Tyron Woodley. It's just getting crazy. Always beef in this whole boxing thing. It's reviving boxing as it used to be. And I think a lot of people can't admit that. Boxing was never dead. It was. Boxing was a decent decline. Yes, boxing, you get more money than MMA fighters. That's something to say. MMA fighters do not get, unless they're like Conor McGregor, which can sell a fight pretty easily, to be honest. I think he's the old. I don't know if he's one of the high. I don't even think he's got a lot in the UFC. I think most of his money comes from his whiskey company. Well, he just sold his whiskey company, but most of his money came from his whiskey company. So I don't know if he actually was or even got very good pay from the... I think he got a decent pay from the UFC. I don't think it was incredible, though. I don't actually know the highest. UFC thing is. But I agree with what Jake said. Obviously, if you don't know, Jake said that UFC fighters should be paid fairly. They should be paid have a higher pay, and that's true. I agree with him there. I think that every UFC fighter should at least have 100,000. That's it. Like that. That should for one fight. That's the minimum they should go. That's the minimum they should go. Even for losses, 100,000, 150,000, I'd say. That's pretty decent, I'd say. I mean, obviously you don't want to go like 200, 500,000, stuff like that, but I'd say, yeah, 150 or 200,000, something like that, for a loss of fight and a win. I don't know, 1 million or something like that. I don't know, Dana White, I don't know, he has a lot of beef with Jake Paul. I mean, I'd love to see Dana White actually get in the ring with Jake Paul. That'd be funny as fuck. But I doubt that would really happen. I don't know if Dana White actually does boxing or wrestling personally. I think he's more of just the promoter side of things. I don't think he really actually gives a shit about the fighting itself. But who knows? But it's kind of scary why Jake is. I mean, I hope this is Jake Paul's last UFC opponent. I hope he moves on from fighting UFC opponents and actually gears up to fight the next opponent, which would be a boxer. Tommy Fury is still trying to get, Jake Paul out there. He's still calling him out, but he's got no word from him. Why? Because I don't think Jake is capable of fighting an actual boxer. And I know a lot of Jake fans are like, oh no, that's untrue, that's not true. It is true though. Yes, I know Tommy Fury has fought people who have had decent or big losses. That doesn't mean anything. That's just his start of his career. He's probably going to start to fight people with better records as he goes on. And I don't think he actually gets handed the opponent. I don't think he just picks the opponents. I think he just gets handed them on a plate, and he has to fight them, and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, if Tommy Fury still continues to beef Jake Paul, we may see a fight in the future against him. I hope as well with Logan. I hope this isn't his last fight. I hope he continues to maybe venture out fighting other people, but I don't know. I think Jake Paul's a little jealous. I definitely know that Jake Paul wouldn't have grabbed this out. Jake Paul definitely would have pussied out. So you gotta respect Logan. The guy's virtually. I mean, he's bagged something pretty good. And I don't think Jake Paul actually likes that. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy for Logan. I hope he does win. Or at least does very good and shows people, that he's not someone to be pushed about. But I don't know. I really do want to see him do well, though. I think he's gained a lot of respect with people. He's kind of that guy now who a lot of people can trust and I don't know. He's a very chill person. I mean, just from what I've seen anyway, and the interviews and stuff like that. He seems to be like the only person from the Logan or the Paul family that actually seems to be pretty sane and pretty decent and I don't know, pretty chill. As we all know, I think Logan's dad is a bit of a fucking creep as well. I know there was some leaked shit out there that apparently his dad had sex with underage children. Teenagers or children, one of them. I don't know if he came out saying that he had sex. I don't know if he actually did. But if he did, shit. But the whole, just three of these, I mean, then again, Jake Paul's fighting in fucking August. I don't know, I think people would have forgot then. I'm gonna be straight honest. I think people would have forgot then. That's a long ass time. That's like at least a. I know they've got to train and shit, but I don't know. I think it's a long ass fucking time. That's a very long time. I think they should be training already, even if they're not fighting. You know, it's kind of stupid why. I don't know if Tyron Woodley's retired or he still actually fights in the MMA. That's something I don't actually know of, but I definitely know this fight is going to be incredibly stressful for all of them. And I hope to God at least Logan shows people that he's the next level shit or he's upgraded now. Or maybe if he wins this, I'll be shocked. I don't think he is, obviously. I'm going to put a bet down either way. Because, like, the stakes are pretty high to where if he did win, you know, you wouldn't want to lose that shit. I mean, I think if you slap down $10, it's like $55 or $60. So I mean, it's a pretty good stake right there. Just for $10, I mean, that's pretty high. So I mean, and then if you bet, I think if you bet on Floyd, it's like $1. You get I think it's $1 every time, $100 or every 10 you put on or something like that. Anyway, so I'm kind of scared of Logan's future in boxing because I mean it could be ended pretty fast when it comes to this sort of stuff. But I really do hope Logan takes the ring and definitely knocks the fuck out of Floyd. I don't think he is, like I said, but I really do hope a miracle happens and somehow he beats the shit out of Floyd. I mean, that would definitely shock the whole of the boxing world. I know that would shock an incredible amount of people. I mean, it shocked me 100%. Having someone like that being completely knocked out by you. Imagine that as well. If he did knock him out, it'd be everywhere. Floyd Mayweather gets knocked out by a YouTube boxer. That would be so embarrassing. Think about how KSI would react to that. I mean, a lot of people as well are talking about the KSI and Jake Paul fight. I'm just gonna ruin your shit. I don't think it's happening. You see, it's probably not gonna happen, and by the time it happens, I think the hype of it will be died down. I mean, it's first of all, he's got music and tours, which is gonna maybe take a few months and stuff like that. I'm gonna say Jake's obviously got a fight in August. I don't know. I don't think Jake Paul's gonna fight him anymore. I think he missed that opportunity in 2020. I definitely think he should have fought him in 2020. I know lockdown restrictions were going on and that, but towards the end of 2020, he definitely could have slipped one up. But I'm gonna be straight up honest. I don't think Jake Paul's actually gonna fight KSI. It just doesn't seem like it's gonna go ahead. Personally, I think probably because it's taken too long. And what's happening now is Jake Paul is progressing in boxing, and I personally don't think KSI is. I think he's still training and stuff, but he's not training as greatly as say what he was in 2019 for that fight. So it's kind of a bad thing that they don't want to fight. Obviously, a lot of people are still hyped. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it would have enough hype by the time it happened. If it happens this year, then yes, the hype around it's probably going to be high. 100% it's going to be high if the hype really lands well. However, the hype is probably going to die. The hype is, well, actually, no, it's probably going to die pretty quickly. It's obvious that we all know that Jake Paul is probably gonna duck. Oh, Jake Paul, man, Jake Paul. That's kind of sucks though, because I mean it's kind of shocking. It's kind of shocking to see Jake Paul do this as well. Well, I don't know. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they do fight in the future because it definitely would close a lot of gaps. I don't know. Maybe Deji may get a rematch, which would be kind of crazy. But yeah, it looks like Logan Paul actually doesn't want a rematch. Floyd Mayweather, and apparently there's been talks that Floyd Mayweather wants to fight Conor McGregor in a rematch. Now, I don't know how stupid that's. I mean, I can't lie. Watching that Conor McGregor fight, the amount of rounds he went without even falling down. I mean, he got a few good punches on Floyd. He got a few good punches on Floyd. But I mean, if it was to rematch, I mean, I don't know if it'd rematch. I don't know if we'd see a rematch in them fighting, but I don't know. Apparently, he would face Conor McGregor, which I mean, obviously that's gonna sell fucking millions. But I don't know. I don't know. It's one of them fights where you just think maybe it's a bit over top. I mean, I don't know if Conor McGregor actually will accept Floyd's, because I know they still have pretty big beef. I know Floyd has called him out, still called him out. Not Floyd. Conor McGregor has still called him out numerous times, and called him an old fat and shit like that, which is quite funny. But it's I don't know. I don't know if they'll actually fight and take this one in the ring, or we may just see this one as one of them call outs and say, "Oh, I want to fight this and that." So apparently they want to fight Conor and Floyd. Who knows? We may see big potential in this fight. I mean, then again, I don't think a lot of people will buy it because, I mean, let's be honest, it's a rematch, for fuck's sake. If Conor beats Floyd, think of how stupid that would fucking be on Floyd's behalf. I mean, let's be honest, they'd probably only fight if Floyd won this fight. If I was Floyd right now, I'd be pretty scared. I'd be pretty scared because if he fucks this fight up, this is like one swipe on his record. Even if he's got one loss, because he's the undefeated, isn't he? You know, people call him the undefeated, this and that. If he gets beaten like this, well, he's not the undefeated anymore. He's the guy who lost to a fucking YouTube boxer, which would be a very embarrassing thing to be nicknamed. I mean, he won't be nicknamed the money anymore. He'd be nicknamed the got beaten up by a fucking YouTube inexperienced boxer, which I don't know, it would be pretty funny to see. But yes, I think these fights happening. I know the UK it's happening Monday 4 p.m. I think in America it's Sunday. Some I can't exactly remember the time, but I definitely know that a lot of people are ready to stay up for this and are pretty excited. So hopefully we don't get a show like Jake Paul's fight. Hopefully we actually get a show which, you know, is pretty fierce and rampant and shows people up. I'm really happy if Logan wins, all respect to him. If Logan loses, still all respect to him. I mean, you gotta. I know a lot of people are clown on Logan, and say, "How you lost," but I mean, it's pretty obvious he's gonna lose. I mean, a lot of people already know that. Do I think he's gonna get knocked out? I think there's no judges, and there's one knockout. So I don't know. If I was Logan, I'd be more focused on trying to get the knockdown, getting him down on the ground any possible way. If Logan really does beat this, that will shock the world. That will silence everybody in the boxing community because they'd be shocked. I know a lot of pro boxers and stuff like that think that it's never going to happen. Obviously, Mike Tyson was stopped, and he said he highly doubts he's going to win. But if he does, you know, it'd be a very, 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 very big thing in the boxing community. I don't know who's going to win. I kind of hope for Logan too, purely because I know a lot. Apparently, some people have put like 10,000 down on the fight, which, in my opinion, is what the fuck? What are you doing putting that sort of cash down on a fight like that? It's like you're almost just throwing away 10,000. I mean, it's a pretty big stake. I can't lie there. pretty big stake. But I mean, I don't know. Wait, let me try and put 10,000 down on this fight thing. I'm not actually gonna pay 10,000 because, well, let's be honest, it's gonna be a straight loss. But yeah, it's at 9-2. So if I say put 10,000, if I put 100 on, that'd be a return of 155. If I put 1,000 on, that'd be a return of 5,500. And if I put 10,000 on, that would be a return of $55,000. If I put 100,000 on, if I staked 40,000, it would get me 249,000, which I mean is an incredible thing here. So hopefully, like I said, Logan wins. I don't think he is going to though. It's probably going to be a easy Floyd win right now. I don't know. It seems pretty promising from what we see from the Logan Paul team, but let's see if the words action. I'll probably be doing a podcast straight after the fight or so to try and give what I think about it and try and tell you what I think about everything, like the angles and stuff. I don't want to kind of live react to it and, do the podcast as well. So, I don't know. Hopefully, we will see this fight as being a greatness and something that really shocks the world because I can tell you that Logan hopefully will shock the world and take this thing pretty seriously. But yeah, that's really all I've got to say. I'm gonna leave that there. All the best to Logan and fighters that are going against each other. I gotta respect Jake Paul as well for absolutely smashing this Floyd Mayweather fight. If it wasn't for him, this fight probably may not have gone ahead. And it's kind of crazy. We've got a lot of fights this year. We've had 4 or so fights, maybe more. Maybe Logan decides to fight again before the end of the year. But yeah, hopefully everything does go well. Maybe hope Logan wins. I know Logan's probably not going to win. I mean, it's pretty obvious the odds are against him anyway because he's fighting an undefeated boxer and he's already been defeated by KSI. But then again, he did perform very decently with KSI, so I think this is going to be a very shocking fight. It's going to humble the world. It's going to quieten the world and the boxing community. Hopefully it does. Yeah, that's really all I got to say on it. There's no else really for me to input down. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that there. Thank you for listening. Stay very safe. And if you are watching the fight, make sure you're not illegally streaming it because they're probably going to crack down pretty hard on that. I think it's like $50, which I mean, don't get me wrong, that's pretty hefty. Can't lie there. So hopefully they actually get a good fight out of this. Because I mean, let's be honest, if Logan just gets one punched out, I mean it's gonna be not gonna be worth $50. That's gonna be kind of a you want a refund if you know what I mean. So hopefully Logan at least survives in the ring for a good 2 to 3 rounds to prove that $50 is actually worth it. Other than that, I don't know who else. I don't know if it's just them straight fighting then, or there's people fighting before. I think there's people fighting before them. But I'm very happy for Logan. I think he's done something that a lot of people probably wanted, or his brother wouldn't have even done. But yeah, that's really all I've got. Hopefully this fight does promise a lot of people and does very good, even if Logan doesn't win. Anyway, thank you for listening. Stay safe from COVID and everything like that fucked up in the world. And goodbye.